A few of my guests call themselves the black sheep of the family, and it got me thinking. Doesn't this mean that they stand out? That their situations are sometimes tougher, harsher, or meaner? That their choices are odd as compared to the white sheep? That they dare to tread along the road that is less taken? They are the exceptions to the rules. And that's why maybe there's an extra in their ordinary. To me, this kind of extra is fantastic because it makes them different, they make heads turn, and they fight battles that are unique. And most of all, with every scar they've had to live through, there is a story and a legacy worth remembering. Meet one such black sheep, Aubhro Ghosh from Raleigh, North Carolina. If this is your first time, I'm your host Candy, and welcome to Candid with Candy. I hope you enjoy the show. Hey, Aubhro, thank you so much for joining me today.
Hey Candy, it's great to be here and thank you so much for having me on here. I am excited and I am nervous.
I'm excited as well. It's not too often that you get two YouTubers together in one screen, so it's gonna be really interesting.
Budding YouTubers, right? We are both budding YouTubers.
Budding YouTubers, yeah, that's
Yeah.
important.
We'll make it. We'll make it.
Let's begin with, little Aubhro. I know you were quite the naughty one.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Childhood antics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I am the older brother. I'm the older of two kids. I was the rebel, I just had to do things my way. I would not take orders. I wouldn't listen. I just do whatever uh, I wanted to do, and that got me into a lot of trouble at times. But hey, that's who I used to be, and that's who I am even now. And yeah, I was like anything to do with studies, I'd be like, yep, nope, not doing it. And I gave my mom a lot of sleepless nights. Both mom and dad actually. They didn't know what they're gonna do with me. And my brother, he was like the polar opposite. He was like studious and good, and he would listen. And so that was an interesting dynamic. Yeah, but
You remind me of Dennis the Menace.
yeah, my that's what my mom used to call me. Like, yeah, you're Dennis the Menace.
So, in other words, you were extremely energetic as well.
Yes.
Yeah. And then something happened at, I don't know, how old were you? 16?
Um,
Probably the turning point of your life.
17.
So, what happened at age 17? Mhm.
17 was when I was in class 12 or senior year of high school here. And we have our board exams and whatnot. And I was always the kind of guy or the kind of student who would just, cruise along throughout the year and towards the end, just, rely on, like, so I have a very good memory. So I would usually rely on that. Like, hey, if I read stuff, I retain it. And I thought that's how it's going to happen again. But that's not how it happened. It went quite bad. So I failed in physics and chemistry. So that if you get two strikes, you have to repeat the year again. So yeah, that was the first failure in my life, the first of many. That point of time in my life, I felt that that's it. There's nothing more to it, nothing more to life. That's the end. And at that point of time, my dad was posted in a small town in UP called Bareilly, where people know each other, and everybody knows everybody, and there's a lot of uh, how about that? Like a lot of negative energy that comes with it. A lot of stress that you failed, you so and so's son has failed because the parents weren't putting in too much effort. Or they just let the kid do whatever they want. They don't listen. They don't care. All of that. I think as I heard more and more of that, the thing that really started bothering me the most, it was like this was supposed to be my failure, right? I've failed. It's not my dad's failure, it's not my mom's failure, it's just me not listening to anything. Like, they gave me everything that they possibly could for me to succeed. It was as if like all of the blame is on them, and that to me was quite hard. And combine that with the feeling like I'm just a teenager going through all my teenagey stuff.
Right.
And I'm trying to process that I failed and I have to do this all over again. And looking back now, I feel like I was very depressed. And not gonna lie, thoughts of suicide had crossed my mind. And that's when my dad and I really started bonding. Now, my dad was a straight A student throughout. I've always thought of myself as black sheep of the family, and but not in a negative way. I wear it as a badge of honor.
You touched upon something that's really important. I think, especially in India, the kind of focus that is given to education, not only does it stress the children out, it also stress the entire family out, right? To a point where it becomes competition between families of, who's got better grades and who's got into, which college, etc., etc. And all of that affects the child so much to a
Oh,
point, like you said, where, the rate of suicides have really increased over the years. And what I hear you say after that is that, because of that failure, it was a turning point in your life, but you also became much closer to your father. So,
yeah.
and that's probably something that kind of pulled you out of that depressive state, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. Like he would come home every day from work, and he would always have phrases like, failure is a stepping stone to success, and it's always better to fail fast and fail early than fail later in life. Everybody fails. I think the one thing at one point of time I confessed to him that I was having thoughts of, you know, suicide, or it's ending all of this. He didn't get mad. He didn't react the way I would have expected him to. Like, he empathized with me. He really did. And to me, he said that, this is not the end of life. This is just the beginning, and there's much more to it. And what you need to focus on is not to prove that other people are wrong or who's right or who's wrong. You know who you are and what you are capable of. So you just have to prove to yourself that you are not who you are in this current situation, or make sure that you prove to yourself that you're better than this. And
And that's wonderful, when somebody is going through such a situation, right? Especially in those teenage years, just having that one anchor, right?
yeah,
It's not necessarily your mom or your dad or your parents, it could be anybody,
anybody, yeah.
right? Just having that anchor, it could be a teacher, it could be a friend, an aunt, an uncle, whoever it is. And, um, cementing it into that young child's mind that, like you rightly said, right? Failures happen in life, that's the way you learn. If only such children had that one anchor to look up to, I think we would be able to really, reduce, if not eliminate, suicides.
Absolutely. And see, so yeah, you're right. Like, you just need a positive anchor and a positive role model at that time. And for me, it was like the icing on the cake that it was my dad, because I've always looked up to him. Like, at that point of time, 2003, he's a colonel in the army. He's a doctor, and you see the respect that people have for him, and you always want to aspire to be someone like him.
Right.
And at that point of time where I was anything but like him, and at that particular moment for him to come and lend an ear and be my anchor, and that was big. That was huge.
So once you completed your senior year of high school and you gave the exams again, something interesting happened, Aubhro. Let us know.
The second time I passed, so there was that. that was that was one monkey off my back. I'm 17. I have no clue what I'm gonna do in life. I'm 35 now, and I still have no idea what I'm gonna do in life. So that gives you some perspective. But then it was even worse. At that point of time, so my mom and dad, they were in New Delhi for a career seminar or something like that for kids. So where they found out about this college that has this exchange program with universities in the US. I ended up getting into one of these this university. And keep in mind, so a US education is not cheap, right? That's when it really hit me that my parents are willing to put in all of this, not just time and effort, but also this huge sum of money behind me to see me succeed or do something. So I was like, man, this is about time, man. Let's let's get
Let's
our
do
act
that.
together and let's do something. Yeah.
Then, so Aubhro, you studied, in India and the US,
Hmm.
and obviously, you're excited because you've uh, taken up this course which has this really bright future in computers, and all
And
of that.
I had no idea about computers, so there
Yeah.
was that.
And then, when you're ready to work and out, and you're a young man, recession hits.
Yep, 2007 is when I graduated, and 2008 is when the recession was at its peak. Man, this cannot be happening to me all over again. There was a time when it was quite difficult. Like, uh, I was out of job. I was out of a job for a month or so. It was my 23rd birthday, and I didn't have a place to live at that point of time because I was not making any money, right? So I was crashing with a friend um, who happens to be my best friend. So he was a student in North Dakota, and I figured like, no, we're gonna have some fun tonight. So I log in, and the balance was dollar 0.17. I just had 17 cents to my account, and um, that felt that hit like here. But you know what they say? Like the three best teachers in life are failures, empty pockets, and heartbreaks, right? So I had the failure checked off. Now I got the empty pockets checked off. My best friend, and he comes back home in the evening. He looks at me and he's like, "Hey, happy birthday, dude!" And he throws something at me, and the thing was a brand new pack of Marlboro Reds. That was a $6 pack. That's an hour's worth of his work, right? That's another thing that you learn in life is friends. No matter how bad your situation is, there's always someone who's looking out for you, like the anchor that we spoke about a little earlier. So my dad was my anchor when I failed in class in 12th, and my friend here, well, at that moment, without him even knowing it, he was that anchor that brought things back into perspective. That what, nah, it'll be all right.
At the end of the day, the thought that counts, right? That little packet of cigarette that you're talking about, which is obviously worth his 1 hour of work, the gift that you really cherish for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You're not thinking um, a really expensive pair of Nike shoes. You're thinking about, oh my God, he came back home knowing that I was in a bad situation and what he could have afforded at that point in time. And he knew something that would make me happy was a pack of cigarettes. And he probably saved all his, pocket money for that day to kind of give you that, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And
It was a very metaphorical gift, right? I mean,
it was.
so we're not saying that smoking is good and people should smoke. That's not the
Absolutely
message
not.
here.
No, no, no.
There was one point that we missed, Aubhro. After you failed your class 12, I
Oh
know
yeah.
you had a little poster in your room that you
Yep,
were
yep.
looking
I
at.
was just thinking about that. Just
We
thinking
forgot
about
to mention that.
yeah,
So can you tell us about it, please?
yeah, absolutely. I've always loved cars and motorcycles. Right? Like, even as a kid, I was fascinated by cars and motorcycles, and I used to have a poster of a motorcycle on my bedroom wall that I used to look up to, and I'd be like, you know what? There's gonna be a day. There's gonna be someday in my life where I'd be riding this motorcycle that I see on this poster on my wall. And at that point of time, that bike was a distant possibility. Like those were not sold in India. Those were just
Yeah,
a
it was just probably some you picked up from some magazine and just
yeah,
randomly put them,
absolutely,
right?
absolutely
Yeah.
something I found in a magazine, and I'm like, you know what, this is gonna be it.
Yeah. So we'll talk a little more about the motorcycle in the later part of the show. You had to go home, or you went home after many years to India.
Yeah.
I think
So
after 5 years of living in the
5 years.
US,
Yep.
you went back to India, and something that shouldn't
Yeah.
have happened happened.
was my cousin, my brother from another mother. In February 2012, uh, him and I we went back home to Calcutta. And I surprised my parents at 2 o'clock in the morning. That's when the flight gets in, and they had no clue that I was coming. So I just went in and I rang the doorbell. And, it was like and it's been like ages since we saw each other, and it was so much fun. It was so much fun seeing my dad, my mom, my brother, my grandparents, all of that. And so when the 12th, after my 12th fiasco, class 12 fiasco, uh, my mom and I, we kind of drifted apart. I mean, you can't really drift apart, a mom and a son, but you kind of drift apart. But then later on, as I told her about my struggles and the 17-cent story and all of that, we started bonding. We got really close to a point where we were like almost like friends, less like a mom and son. Like I could talk to her about anything and things like that. Like she would, so we would have a lot of fun. We would pick on each other. I love picking on people, so we used to do that. And so my mom comes back home. So let's go somewhere as a family and just for the weekend and just have fun. So we went out for about 3 days or so, and we had a great time.
So that was a family vacation after how many years?
8 years or so.
Wow.
It had been years and ages since I had gone on a vacation with just mom and dad, and where you get to be the son and just chill and relax. And we were coming back home. We were about maybe a couple of hours away from home. My dad was driving the car. I was asleep in the back seat. My mom and I, we were both in the back seats, and we were both asleep. I was asleep one moment. The next moment, I wake up. I see nothing but the clear blue sky. And for a minute, I'm like, yeah, I'm dreaming. Next thing I remember was my dad looking at me and with tears in his eyes. And I've never seen my dad have tears in his eyes ever. He's like your army dude, right? He's built tough. And I was like, where's mom? And he says, she's no more. At that point of time, I just blacked out. I had no idea what's going on. So what had happened during that time was when we were asleep, we got into an accident. My mom and we both got thrown out of the car. I slid a good 25, 30 feet on the road into the embankment, and so did mom, I think. My back was all shredded of sorts. I had a broken shoulder, I had a concussion, I was bleeding from my head and all of that. My mom, she didn't make it. So that's where, basically she didn't make it.
Oh my God.
And so at that point of time, I had no idea what's real and what's not. I kept going in and out of consciousness. I don't remember seeing her for the last time. And then it started hitting me that this had really happened, of people checking in on you, like, are you doing okay? Are you doing okay? And that's when I made a pact to myself. I was like, whenever people come to see me during the day, be it my dad, my brother, my grandmother, I would show no pain. Like, there's no pain. Because so my mom was the only child of my grandmother. My brother was 20, I think. I felt like, since I'm the older kid of the house, I'm the older son, it's my responsibility to take care of them. To the best that I could. Now, I couldn't do anything physically, but the least I could do was let them know that I'm okay. And no pain.
So you had to wear that mask. You felt like you had to wear a mask.
Oh, absolutely. I was with her at the time of the accident. So, and a whole lot of things went through my head that it should have been me, not her. Um, about it, like I couldn't be there physically to console people or anything. So the least I could do was not have them worry about me. So what I would do was I wouldn't take the pain meds that the doctors would give me. The simple reason being that I felt that I let her down, and I wanted to feel the pain because I couldn't remember anything that happened then, but I wanted to punish myself. I wanted to feel the pain.
I'm so sorry, Aubhro. I'm just so sorry. You need a minute? Somebody talking about such vulnerable moments. I don't know if I can do it. And you're doing it for, everybody to see. This vulnerability is something that I'm actually, I don't know if it's the right time to say this, but I really admire you for that.
Thank you.
Because while you are explaining this whole thing, it's so real and not something that is abnormal. You know what I'm saying? When somebody goes through, a bad accident like you did, the survivors tend to feel that it's their fault, and they want to put themselves in that pain, and you did that physically and mentally both. uh, because at that time it just feels right, or it just felt right for you.
Absolutely.
And you were so helpless. You were so helpless, and hence, like you rightly said, right, you yourself was in a concussion, you had a broken shoulder, you had bruises all over your body, and I'm sure you couldn't walk, and you were hospitalized for quite a bit.
Yeah.
um and then having to see your own father go through that, your brother, you must be thinking, oh my god, my brother is just 20 years older, and his
He's a
mother
kid. He's
has
a
been
kid. Yeah.
snatched away.
Yeah.
uh I can't even imagine. As you explain, I all I can feel is that pain and that guilt. But I'm so happy that you got out of that. That that thought, and today that it's not your fault, right? It's not your fault. Things happen, and a lot of times we feel that if I hadn't done something in a certain way,
Yep.
had another a different outcome.
Yep.
But I believe in God, and I believe that there are destinies, and things, what is to happen will happen no matter what we do,
Absolutely.
right?
That's you hit the nail right on the head. It's like when it's time, it's time.
Yeah.
If you keep thinking like if I had done something else, maybe this wouldn't have happened. Yeah, maybe that particular thing wouldn't have happened, but the event that was supposed to happen would have happened one way or the other. It took me a good 4 years to get uh, get over it finally.
Oh my.
And I
But
mean, it's
what is important is, Aubhro, you came out of it.
I did because I kept telling. See, that's again part of my stubborn nature. I kept telling myself that, hey, now that she's not with us physically, she's probably out there watching me all the time now. So I better start getting my act together, and not, you know, just hopefully do things that she'd be proud of me. So,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Oh, as we are approaching towards the end of your story, I know she's probably smiling down right now and thinking, look at my naughty son. I'm so proud of this boy, and what you've done so far, and you have a wonderful life, you have a wonderful house, you have the life that you've always wanted.
Absolutely. It sure is. Thank you so much. So,
You're alive, you know what I'm saying? That's what is important, right? We are alive, and we have that choice to make.
mhm,
And,
absolutely.
so my deepest condolences to the way the time and the way she passed away. uh, Definitely, it's one of the worst nightmares that anybody has, right? And
Look,
that
I would wish a lot of things on my enemies,
yeah,
but I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy even.
no, no. Yeah, I don't think there's anything worse than, sudden death, right? Especially an accidental death. It's very different when somebody is sick and
Absolutely.
you pass
That you
away.
know that something's going on and
Yeah, yeah,
this is a possibility. And my
yeah,
mom was 49 when this happened, so it was.
yeah.
But yeah, as you said, it's like accept it and just do better.
Yeah.
As
And
with
you always
every,
have such a big smile on your face. Nobody would have guessed that, this is the kind of life that you had to lead.
what I've come to learn uh, in life with when I've dealt with so many people now, like everybody, each and every one of us has something, not that they're hiding, but
Mm,
stuff that they've gone through in life
mm,
um, that you wouldn't know just by looking at them. When I talk to people and listen to their stories and how they've overcome things in their lives,
mm.
that gives me hope that maybe even I can.
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. And so many people will listen to your story today and they will look at themselves and say, maybe even I can.
No, if I can, anybody can. Trust me. If I can, anybody can.
No, it's a beautiful message. So fast forward to today, Aubhro. I know that you eventually started a company of your own. And if you could tell us a little bit about what you do and also, you know, some of the goals that you achieved, I think it's somewhere around the house. So if you can talk about that as well.
Yeah, sure. Uh, so I so I went to grad school from 2016 to 2018. Oh, and there's Ethan. Hi, Ethan. That to me was a very proud moment in my life because I had never envisioned myself graduating from a top 20 business school in the US. Uh, my dad was here, his first visit to the States. He was here for my graduation, and I felt proud. So that kind of ties back to that story of earlier when I failed and I felt that my parents used to be blamed and I let them down. That to me was my redemption of sorts. The day I was when they called my name, I was walking across the stage and I could see his
The
face.
little hat on.
Yeah, yeah, and I could see his face in the crowd, and that to me felt like redemption. Then I had this moment like, hey, I could do my own thing. So I did go ahead and I incorporated myself, and I have my own company now. I work as a consultant within the healthcare space, and yeah, so I kind of sort of am my own boss.
Yeah. So you're like the founder, you're the CEO.
Yeah, I'm the
You are,
founder, CEO, president of the board,
yeah.
everything. The buck stops here. What I say goes.
Isn't that awesome?
It is. It is. When COVID hit earlier last year, around March-ish or so, there's got to be something that I do in my free time other than just watching TV. Which was I've always loved cars and motorcycles. I really have. I really have. I've always wanted to do something about it, but I never knew what.
Uh,
So that's when I took the plunge, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start my YouTube channel, and I did. I started my YouTube channel. It's called Broman Rhapsody. I review cars and motorcycles.
Yay. And we'll put all of the links in the description below. So, all of the viewers today, you should definitely check it out.
Go check it out. Like and subscribe like you do to Candy's channel.
Love and subscribe.
Yeah, love, subscribe, share, do all of that.
The icing on the cake for me is your dream come true. So
Yeah.
we want to know what the dream is. Yes.
Oh, well, let me answer that in two parts. Let me first say that the poster that I had as a kid of that motorcycle, that was a poster of a blue Yamaha R1. which is a liter bike, one of the fastest bikes of that time. And a few years ago, I bought a blue Yamaha R1. It's the one up there on that corner. And you can check out the video in my channel. I reviewed it. It was one of the first few bikes I reviewed. Anytime that I feel that life is not going the way I wanted to or I thought it would, I just walk through my garage and I'm like, dude, you're living in, so shut up and focus.
This is one of the biggest learnings for me from your story is to have a tangible dream. You know, I don't think it's enough for us to say, oh, I want to be happy or I want to experience joy. When you kind of define that into something that you can touch and feel, I think that's when you can actually physically, mentally work towards it, and that's what you did so beautifully. And to
Yeah.
have your dream sitting at your garage with two more of the bikes,
Yeah,
that's something.
thank you. Whatever goal you want to achieve in life, have it defined and just go after it with everything you've got and do not stop.
I feel so blessed to meet people like you, who have incredible stories, and you kind of make that choice to share it with me on this platform. I feel extremely honored. I feel extremely humbled.
Thank you. This is, I mean, thank you for giving me the opportunity to come on your show. And if my story can inspire someone to do something to be better, absolutely, that's the goal. And
Yeah.
like I said again, I'll repeat it again. If I can do it, anybody can.
Absolutely. I think, I'm happy to let you know that a few of my stories have been impactful. A lot of people have called me talking about how they heard XYZ story and how it has helped them. When I hear such things from people, that's when I'm like, okay, I think I did the right thing.
Of course.
On that note, thank you very much. And you have a great week and all the very best with Broman Rhapsody.
Well, thank you so much. Thanks for having me, and good luck to you as well.
Okay, bye.
Courage is not the absence of fear. It's feeling the fear, but doing it anyway. I hope you enjoyed Aubhro's story. Please hit the like button and, of course, the subscribe button and share too. Thank you, everybody, for watching. This is your host, Candy, signing out. See you next Tuesday. Till then, God bless.